It's like being a rock star. Ah, San Francisco! That's all I got.
First time here? You've been here before?
No, I've been here, I was here in 2008 to promote Iron Man. It really was a wonderful moment, and similar to this in that people didn't know what to expect from Iron Man. We were a bit of an underdog back then. And it's honestly one of the cons that it reminds me a lot of, you know, Comic-Cons turn into this huge thing. It's a lot of fun. This reminds me a lot of what Comic-Con was like when I first started going to Comic-Con. And yeah, that's right, give yourself a round of applause. And I think Comic-Con has been so instrumental in so many movies really arriving that everybody focuses a lot of attention there. And I think it is a lot of fun. But it's more like a big festival or a big party. What's nice about this is it's a little bit more intimate, and we can really have a dialogue here and talk about things and just take it's not like a big carnival. And it's a great opportunity. Well, it also shows, I think it shows you guys who really cares about this group of people, and I, for one, am very grateful for what you guys have all done for my career. So I want to make sure that this remains a priority, and it's fun also to be here with you know, there's a much more limited slate of films that have prioritized this event, so I think it allows for a better dialogue, and I want to make sure we make this special for you. So sadly, however, the actors are working, but we'll make it fun for you today, for sure.
So, Cowboys and Aliens is the title. When people think of the alien genre, they think of aliens really, the age of the UFO started in the mid-40s. What made you think you could take it all the way back to period, and why is that something that you would attempt to do when it's a little bit out of left field?
Well, first of all, Bob, in addition to being a producer on the film, is one of the writers of the draft. He, along with Alex and Alex Kurtzman and Damon Lindelof, they had worked together on the Star Trek film, which I thought was great. And I had heard about Cowboys and Aliens many times. I had heard about it first when Fergus and Osby, the writing team that wrote the first Iron Man film, had gotten hired by you guys to do a first draft of it.
And if I can say, they did a great job. We really we generated the story with them, and they did an amazing first draft. And then Iron Man came out, and then we couldn't afford them anymore, so we had to jump in. Thanks for that.
Yes, you're welcome. And so I was like really intrigued. And then when we were working on Iron Man 2, Robert was flirting with the project as well, Robert Downey. And I kept hearing this name, and I thought, there's a really great version of a film called Cowboys and Aliens. There are a lot of really bad versions of a film called Cowboys and Aliens too. But if it were done right, and I heard Ron Howard and Steven Spielberg were all attached to this thing, and it was very intriguing. It was a very intriguing idea. So,
well, speaking of working with Robert, okay, you've kind of ridden the bull of a major star. Now in this movie, you had to work with two. Twice the difficulty, twice as fun.
These guys were great. I mean, you know, Daniel Craig is just an awesome professional, great dude. And his work in Layer Cake, and then of course later the Bond films. Yeah, Layer Cake, that's right. And the Bond films, he's sort of a vulnerable but really badass hero. When the wheels are always turning, and he's not just, he's really invested in the stakes of the moment. So you have that generation. And then of course with Harrison, you know, that was Harrison was a late-breaking idea because we didn't think it was doable at all. And
meaning we never thought he'd say yes.
We never thought he'd want to do, you know, come back to genre. And, you know, as most of the people in this room, you know, feel, we really fell in love with the guy through films like Indiana Jones and Star Wars and And so to have him bring that pedigree, it was almost like when you cast John Wayne in a Western. He was bringing this entire history, and so you had two generations of action stars who reluctantly have to work together. We start them very much at odds in a very cruel environment, and they're forced to work together to rescue their people. So it was just great. They both cared deeply about the process. They were a lot of fun, and we were all living out in Santa Fe for the summer, and it was a dream project. It really was fun. You were there the whole time.
Yes, it was fun. I mean, we were literally stuck in Santa Fe like in summer camp. We were all, there for 3 months, and literally had cookouts at John's house. I mean, it was, the ukuleles came out singing songs around the campfire. It was the
turntables.
Now, you're an actor too. How tempted were you to stick yourself in this movie, and why aren't you in the movie?
I really wanted to, but on Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane made fun of me for putting myself in all my movies. So I said, is it really? So I said, I respected the movie. I didn't want to blow the reality of the film either. So much of this film is the tone. And the West, you have to feel so invested in the Western that when the aliens come, even though you know it's Cowboys and Aliens, it feels like a surprise. And I think although the movie is fun, I wanted the fun to come from the mashup of the genres, not because the people in the Western thought it was not real or winking. I wanted the characters to be freaked out, but the audience to be laughing. And that's, even when I do comedy, that's something I like. I like the people to be worried about what's going to happen next. And I want the excitement to come from just the juxtapositioning of things. So much of this is hitting the tone square on. And I feel that we really did that quite well. I think another big reason that I like to, I'm speaking a lot to the people who I'm showing stuff to people who run the blogs. In this day and age with social networking and Twitter, what's nice is if you have the goods and you get the word out, it spreads. And marketing is seen through. It's good to have marketing to be able to get the message out there. But more importantly, I think that much like political campaigning, you've got to get your message out with the people. And we thought this would be a really good venue to show some stuff. Generally, you show, a few minutes, but then I heard the Green Lantern footage I heard was really good. Anybody here for that? They showed 9 minutes, right? Yeah. So I guess we better show 9 minutes.
I guess so.
This is not going online. This is not the trailer that's going to be cut down from this. This is purely some footage that we put together for this room and this room only. And there are things we've never shown before in it, and probably will never show again until the film comes out. Because this is our last moment. Comic-Con is going to be about a week before we come out. So we either got to go big or go home there. But it's too late. The marketing machine's already taken over. This is our last moment to really be in communion with the fans. And so we thought this was a great opportunity to make it worth your while for coming to San Francisco. So let's show the footage now, and then maybe we'll do a little Q&A afterwards, okay? So let's roll this. You don't know how good this makes us feel right now. Thank you.
Is that the alien at the end?
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, you're the only people who get to see that alien. We're not showing it to anybody else. It's not going in the marketing materials, so you get the only glimpse. So everybody's going to ask you, what did it look like? Was it scary? But we figured that we're going to try to keep as much a mystery as we can. There's a whole end of the movie that's all about the aliens on the ground that we're kind of holding back from showing because we want to keep a sense of mystery. So it's, not that popular, but we want the campaign to leave something to the imagination so that when you actually pay to see the film, you actually don't feel like you've seen it already. And by the way, it will be shown in glorious 2D.
Same price.
Yeah, same price. Same price as 3D. No. So yeah, come early and often and help us fight through a competitive summer. So if you want to see movies shot on film in 2D, let the theater owners know that the fans still think 2D's not dead yet. Shall we? Yeah, hi.
Jon, thank you for bringing us great movies in the theaters every year. I know you're a great director. Do you prefer acting better?
No, I see you're wearing your Cowboys and Aliens shirt, so I guess you were at Comic-Con? Yeah? Good. We've come a long way, huh? It's good, getting better. Good. Well, yeah, thank you. I enjoy directing more, to be honest with you, because now that this has become part of directing, now that when we're trying to lock picture and finish off effects and get the music in, the moment where it tends to be the most trying and there's the most anxiety from the studios, and you're trying to figure out your release and your marketing campaign, to be able to come here and show you this and to feel like we're throwing a party and to have it be appreciated so much, it makes directing the most fun job there is in the world, for sure.
Thank you for bringing Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford together, and also bringing in one of my favorite actors, Sam Rockwell. And my question is, I know you're not directing Iron Man 3, but would you be open to at least cameoing as Happy?
As Happy Hogan? Yeah, look, it's I love Shane Black. I'm not familiar with the work of the writer that they just announced that they hired, but you know, I'm very grateful for the opportunities I've had with Marvel. It's introduced me to all of you, and now we move on together, and they're moving on in their own direction. So I continue to be supportive of them, and I can't wait to hear what they have in mind. I'm of course open to anything. I love that franchise. I love those guys.
Hey, were you guys purposely avoiding using historical figures, like say having Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp teaming up on an alien?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we were avoiding that. No, you know, we want it to be someone we want it to be people you can relate to. In fact, we should talk about the Western. There's a long history of cameos and all. There's no small parts in a Western. And the reason you get people like Sam Rockwell, you get people like Paul Dano, Walt Goggins, Anna Largueta, they all come out of the woodwork because every part matters in the Western. There's no small parts in it. And obviously, John's amazing at casting, and we were so lucky to have, I mean, everyone in the movie, no matter, even if they're on for 5 seconds, is just giving it their all, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that part of making too many historical figures in it starts to feel cute, and we wanted the humor. You guys got it. I mean, you guys are the first audience to really see what this movie is about and where the fun is. The fun isn't in making fun of the fact that they're in a Western. The fun is about it blowing their minds and trying to wrap their heads around what they're experiencing, and how do these small people fight against such long odds with such superior technology. That's the fun of this film. And I think by peppering in cute cameos of historical figures, I loved it in Deadwood, but I think in this film it would have interfered and make it a little less mythic. Until
the sequel.
Thank you for coming out. And my two questions are: who is doing the music for this movie?
My two answers are Harry Gregson Williams. What's your next question? Go ahead. I don't want to make you wait on mine.
Just real quickly, who's doing the special effects?
Well, we have a combination of ILM doing the. That's why I'm up here visiting with those guys. The best. Roger Guyette is the supervisor. And the people who are doing the physical stuff, the puppet work and all the practical, is a shop called Legacy, which are the people who were formerly Stan Winston Studios.
I'm from New Mexico, and there's been this big controversy in our state about tax incentives for movies, and this discussion that like Avengers will be pulled from filming in the area. I was wondering, since you shot in Santa Fe, if you could speak to things like tax breaks in New Mexico and how that affects industry coming into our state.
I mean, first of all, we couldn't have made the movie we couldn't have put as much dollars on the screen as we did if we had not gone to New Mexico. Conversely, we were there for 3 months, giant crew, all of us there, spending a ton of money, so I really think it's mutually beneficial, and I hope it'll continue.
And I'll say also that part of we shot in a combination of California and New Mexico. I'm in a place in my career where I don't really chase the tax breaks. We went with New Mexico primarily for the look of it. We really liked it, and to film in the summer, it worked very well for us. There was a really good film infrastructure. We built a lot of our sets in California. I think the tax break situation is a tricky one, because I don't think that the film quality should be compromised by chasing tighter margins. But if it's best for the film, as it was in our case to shoot a combination of LA and New Mexico, I thought it was great. Rather than doing CG set extensions, you really had beautiful landscapes and a great community of filmmakers there in New Mexico as well. But California, I think, I prefer shooting here when I can as well.
And hopefully this is going to be our last question.
I feel really bad now. So, the film looks great so far, guys, by the way. Good job. I wanted to ask, with the kind of juxtaposition of Western and sci-fi, is this kind of your commentary on the birth of Manifest Destiny and moving forward, and then kind of where it is now with space being the final frontier kind of meeting?
I think that's a great question to finish up on. What's happened in the post-Vietnam era is Manifest Destiny kind of went out the window as a simple thought. Indigenous populations we began to empathize more with, the colonial age was ending, and we began to see ourselves as a world community. And I think that's a positive thing. The bad thing about filmmaking is that you've often dealt with archetypes that weren't really related to the reality of who those people were. And you lost a lot of the traditions of filmmaking. And I think with all these alien invasion movies, what's fun is you can make the aliens, this ineffable force of evil, and then allow the Cowboys and Indians to come together to fight them, and fall back on very old traditions of what you would see in the older Westerns, because you're dealing with an alien force. It's no longer people fighting against people. So it opens up the door in a way to make the filmmaking a lot more rough and brutal and simplistic. And that was a big appeal for this. I think you're seeing it in war movies. You're going to start to see it as there are a lot of alien movies. You're going to start to see a lot of the old traditions of filmmaking come back, because you're not as concerned about the political correctness of what you're dealing with. You want to add anything else?
And just by doing it, then people get to be shocked. If an alien landed here or a UFO landed here, I think most of us would be like, some of us would be shocked. So like, yeah, I knew it. Back then, it's still kind of a shock. So that's a beautiful.
You can make a PG-13 movie really brutal too, if you're not killing real people, which is also fun. So a lot of blood. There are heads coming off of Lord of the Rings. That's PG-13, right? Anybody else who have time for?
Actually, yes. Apparently the gods have heard your cries, and we've been given another couple of moments for a couple more questions.
Thank you.
Two questions. Number one, are you going to show this at the Arrow? And number two...
The Arrow Theater, yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
And my local theater in Santa Monica, yeah.
I know, I saw Iron Man 2 there. You called me Big Iron Man nerd. But,
is that why you're wearing a Superman shirt now?
Oh, but I had to buy it. So.
That's all right,
I like Superman Returns, kind of. I didn't say that out loud. The other question was, I heard Sam Rockwell's role was originally written a lot differently, and you guys changed the role for him. Is this true? Both written for a different purpose?
I think they all were written a lot different. They were all very involved. Certainly Harrison's role was different.
I mean, you always do that. Once you put a face to the roles you're casting, you inevitably want to make sure that you are tailoring it to their voice as much as you can, even if the structure of the story doesn't necessarily change. So everyone was very involved in making sure that the characters' voices was something created by all of us.
So for the last couple of minutes, should we do speed round and see how many we can answer really quickly? Let's do speed round.
Yes or no preferred. Okay.
Hi,
yes.
I just want to say, first of all, screw Family Guy, you should be in your movie.
The polite golf applause.
I want to ask you, was it hard to have a guy like Harrison Ford, who was in Indiana Jones all those years, to put him in a new Western and try to get him as a new character? I don't know if you got, his hat's different, if like Craig had his hat.
Yeah, it did look a lot like Craig get his hat.
Right.
There was a lot of that going on. Harrison was going to wear chaps, then he saw Daniel's chaps. He said, okay, he gets to wear the chaps. He was very, well, he's a horseman. He has his own ranch, so he had a lot of strong opinions about Westerns. But the only Western he was in was the Frisco Kid. And I said to him, I think we could beat it. I think we can beat it. Certainly the box office. Next.
Quick question about the working with the special effects in this movie versus Iron Man, and what's the truth behind the Iron Man mask that you gave Howard Stern?
Howard Stern, the mask we sent to Howard Stern actually had components of it that were on camera, and he's given me a really hard time saying I gave him a fake mask that was a prop, a giveaway item that was made by some prop house. So it really was a real mask. And to work with a combination of digital and practical effects, which I did on Iron Man, is we kept that same methodology for this, and we didn't start it. It was good to have Steven working on this. They did the same thing on Jurassic Park, and I think that movie still holds up because of it.
Hi, the movie looks really good, by the way. And can you tell me a little bit about Olivia Wilde's character in the movie?
She's awesome, first of all. I said, Olivia, please try to come down. She was working. I said, please come down. All your fans who have crushes on you are here. Do you have any message that I should pass along? And she said, she literally texted me saying to tell you guys that she sleeps naked.
To answer your question.
She's the best, though. She's wonderful. Her character is somebody who's a little bit more in the know than she seems to be, and she's a key to the film in many ways, one of the main characters. One last question I see.
Yeah, I just want to say I love the movie. I love alien attack movies. Battle in LA, I loved it. I just got Skyline. I can't wait for Cowboys and Aliens. My question to you, though, is if you could do another comic book movie, who would you do?
I would like to play Gru someday. That's my dream. Sergio Aragones. Thank you.
I think I'd want to do Bazooka and do a movie.
Bazooka Joe?
Bazooka Bubblegum.
Oh, Bazooka Joe. I can play Morton. Thank you all very much.